What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel, and it's job done. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 0. And if you're a Bournemouth fan watching this, I can absolutely understand how you might feel that that is a flattering scoreline. And I want to get straight to two of the key talking points. The first one, of course, is whether or not Kai Havertz wins the penalty, which is what he did. I think it was a very soft penalty, if I'm totally honest with you. I know that Mark Travers does make contact with Kai Havertz, but Kai Havertz quite clearly leaves his leg hanging there to be caught. I perhaps would prefer it if he'd stayed on his feet, but I think this is representative of a sort of winning mentality that we've developed, the sort of edgy gamesmanship that has come into our game this season more than last, where we do seek to get the advantages wherever we can. I know that Mikel Arteta in his press conference after the match said that Kai Havertz doesn't dive. I think that's taking a few liberties. And I thought it was really canny of Mikel Arteta to deliberately not watch any of the incidents so that when he was asked about them, he could pull the Arsene Wenger move and say, I didn't see them. I also think it's fair to say, before we go on to the next issue, that the foul on Bukayo Saka could easily have been a red. And I don't think any of us really want to see red cards dished out. But was it clumsy? Was it malicious? In the end, I'm happy that he wasn't sent off because it would have coloured the game a little bit. But the second issue, I've got to say, like when it's 2-0 and they score that goal, David Raya going for the Golden Gloves comes and Superman punches the ball out, and of course it's finished. I don't know why that goal wasn't given. I honestly, I've seen it a few times. Maybe I need to watch it a few more. Yes, there's some contact on David Raya. Saliba's certainly bundled over. It's not clear to me which one of those two offences caused the goal to be ruled out. But again, if that happened to us, if we conceded a penalty like that, if a goal was disallowed for that, wouldn't we be furious? And so I think it's only fair to say that on the basis that Bournemouth fans do have something to be a little bit disheartened about. And I thought they played really well. But in the first half, honestly, that's as good as I've seen us play. We came out and did exactly what we needed to do. Total domination. I mean, absolutely. At one point in a 5-minute spell, we'd had 96, 97% possession, which is huge. Bournemouth are a really good team at the moment, and I think they're going in exactly the right direction. But we could easily have been 2 or 3-0 up. And when we get that penalty just before half-time, my nerves really were settled, and I was kind of expecting. I remember thinking all the way through the first half, if we get a goal, the floodgates will open and it'll be a really comfortable early afternoon's work, and then we can all sit back and watch the Man City game. So overall, reviewing the whole match, I was really impressed with the performance. I thought against Chelsea, Martin Odegaard had arguably his best ever game in an Arsenal shirt. It was nearly perfect. And today I thought Declan Rice was that. I thought Kai Havertz played really well, but Declan Rice was outstanding. His assist was classic, driving into the box and then placing the ball in front of Trossard. And what can you say about Trossard? For most of the match, I was actually thinking maybe we do need to take him off. It doesn't seem to be quite there. But just like all good goal scorers, he only needs one touch, a sublime finish, and we're 2-0 up. And as I said, of course, they had a chance to make it 2-1, which would have been, to coin the phrase, squeaky bum time. But Declan Rice with that assist, and then late on in the game, scoring the way he did. What a signing he's been. How many times have I said that? 105 million bargain. I know I've seen a lot of comments on social media saying that if we win the league this year, we should send West Ham another 20 million. And you cannot... And I know that Phil Foden won Player of the Year, Football Writers Player of the Year, I think it was. And he has had an outstanding season, but it's very close. Declan Rice, if he goes on to win the Premier League in his first season at Arsenal, the first time we've done it in 20 years, just shows you how well we spent money. And again, Mikel Arteta in the press conference talking about, we spent big. We had to make sure we spent it on the right players. And when you look back at this summer transfer window, Declan Rice, we were all thrilled that he came in. Kai Havertz, obviously we weren't quite so happy with, but he's come good at the tail end of the season and playing up front at number 9. I don't remember thinking that I wanted Jesus to come on, keeping Jesus on the bench at the moment, and he didn't really get enough time to do anything when he came on. Yuri and Timber, we were expecting to be in the squad at least, having played something like 150 minutes recently in under 21s games, but didn't make the bench. And David Raya, who today won the Golden Gloves with games to spare and having not played all the games this season anyway. Huge impact signings that we've made that have taken us yet closer. Today, after all, we recorded our 26th win. We scored our 88th goal. 26 wins equaling the number of wins in Invincibles. 88 goals matching our record in the Premier League. And there's still 2 games to go, which hopefully we will score in. It's all there now, isn't it? It's all starting to look really solid and dependable. I thought Tomiyasu was arguably our best defender. He's come back in. There's still this issue about left back, which is why it was a bit surprising that Timber wasn't at least on the bench. But he had an outstanding game. And I think, what Arteta had been saying before the match is that having all these players in a squad pushes the players on. In Thomas Partey, I had a few doubts about him in the first half. I thought it would be really kind of typical if we dominated the game and he gave the ball away in midfield and they drove on. Second half, Bournemouth were really strong. And I give them a huge amount of credit. Solanke didn't have his best game. I thought Saliba looked back to something like his best. And Gabriel scoring that absolute worldie. Shouldn't there be a card that says, I don't care if it's offside or not, if a goal is good enough, it should just stand. We don't want to ruin football. And of course it didn't, and I think it was offside. I haven't scrutinised it enough. But Gabriel, and what was lovely about that Gabriel goal was that he was crying out for the ball. This is our centre back demanding the ball so he can have a shot, and then having a shot. I think it comes off his shin, but like I said, it should have been allowed just on the strength of how good a goal it was, and it wouldn't have made any difference anyway. After their goal was disallowed for whatever reason, I felt really comfortable, and I just feel like we've done everything we can. We after that hugely disappointing defeat against Villa, and it was pertinent to today as well, because I think it was Declan Rice interviewed afterwards who said, you do have to, we played just as well against Aston Villa in the first half and didn't get a goal. And then, of course, the pressure mounts. I do think one of the key differences between us as a fan base and Man City is that we are nervier. I mean, tell me in the comments, were you watching the Bournemouth game today in the first half thinking, this could be typical Arsenal, we could end up conceding a goal? There were a couple of moments where it looked like they might score in the first half and didn't quite. Since that Villa defeat, professional performance away to Wolves, annihilation of Chelsea, comfortably beating Tottenham despite that David Raya error, despite giving them a couple of goals in quite uncharacteristic fashion. And then, of course, today, where we add 3 goals to our goal tally, we don't concede. It's a really good feeling. Now, I don't really think that Manchester City are going to lose today at home to Wolves. Their next game after that is a Saturday morning kickoff. I think there's something else really interesting about this as well, because playing as we did today in the early kickoff, I don't know if it's better or worse. For me, it's nice to have that game out of the way, the 3 points on the board, and we can just enjoy the rest of our bank holiday weekends. But next Saturday, of course, Manchester City will be playing the early game against Fulham away. And that's the only real game I think that is going to cause some problems, because Fulham are a completely unknown quantity and they are capable on the day of beating anyone. One of the last press conferences that Jurgen Klopp will do, and he was really amusing, as he often is, talking about how he's never going to watch TNT again, that 12:30 starts are ruining football. I don't know if they are. But Pep Guardiola came out and said the same. He said he agreed with him. And when asked about it, Mikel Arteta just said, it is what it is. And I always have a huge amount of respect for that kind of outlook, that mindset. The sort of people, whenever you hear someone saying it is what it is, it shows you that they're not dwelling on excuses. They're not thinking about how they want things to be. They're dealing with reality. They're dealing with the situation that they're in, and they're trying to do the best they can. And I feel like that is engendered in the way that we play football at the moment. There isn't sulking. David Raya, of course, when he gave away that goal to Tottenham, First thing Arteta did coming on the pitch was put his arms around him, have a laugh and a smile with him. Now, I appreciate we didn't drop points in that game, so it's easier to be forgiving about it. But he's said consistently he doesn't mind players taking risks. He wants players to take risks. And it feels like there isn't a sort of blame culture or recriminations or people pointing at each other. It'd be really interesting to see what Manchester City do. Of course, after that, they have the Tottenham midweek game before the final game of the season, and I can't believe how quick this season's gone. But I read, and I don't know how true this is, that Tottenham fans, several groups of Tottenham fans had written to ENIC, their owners, asking them to deliberately throw the game against Manchester City so that we couldn't win the league. And it just makes you laugh, doesn't it? I mean, first of all, who cares what Tottenham fans think? This isn't going to be a question of, Tottenham deliberately throwing a game against Manchester City. At the moment, the way they're playing, I don't think they've got a prayer anyway. But it does represent, surely, when you see people who've recovered from addiction problems, they always talk about you have to reach your low point to recover. And I think, Tottenham fans, I would say to you, this must be your low point. It must represent a low point where all you care about is us not winning silverware. Hopefully you can recover from this. I know big Ange Postecoglou's coming under increasing fire, and of course they play Liverpool, and I can't see anything but a defeat for them there. And so to come back to it, we have obviously Man City tonight against Wolves. I would predict a fairly comfortable win for Man City. Wolves aren't in good form at the moment. Then next Saturday, of course, if they win their game at home, if they win the away game at Fulham, they go clear of us, and the pressure then goes on us in the Manchester United game. Now, I don't want to scaremonger or doomsay, but we last won at Old Trafford in 2020, and I think in the last 10, we have only won once there. It is not going to be easy. I know Manchester United are a banter club. We have to win at Old Trafford to have any hope in the final day of the season. There may still be twists and turns. Perhaps it'll be today for Man City. Perhaps it'll be that Fulham game. But we have to be ready to capitalise on it next Sunday. We've got 8 days off. So full squad, no injuries. What an epic game that's going to be on Sunday. I can't wait for it. And at the same time, I know I'm going to be nervous as a kitten. Let me know how you're going to feel. Let me know in the comments how you feel about it. Are you confident? Can we be confident? Whatever happens, this season goes down to the last game of the season, barring 2 defeats in a row by Manchester City, which I don't think anyone's predicting, or heaven forfend us getting battered by Manchester United, or failing to win would probably be bad enough. But let me know in the comments how you felt about the game today. Personally, I was much calmer than I expected to be all the way through. Normally, before a match at this stage of a title, this is why I don't do watch-alongs. I'm a bit of a neurotic mess. But afterwards, I'm confident. Afterwards, I'm just proud. I'm just proud of this team. I'm proud of the way they've come together. I'm proud of the way they're running Manchester City, arguably the best Premier League team there's been, really close. And they know they're in a fight. Liverpool have trailed away. It's a 2-horse race now. And, 2 more wins is all we can do. And I'm really hopeful. I wouldn't say confident, but I'm really hopeful. And I'm really grateful that we can get to the last days of the season. There's only us and Man City who are fighting for anything at the top of the table. So let me know in the comments how you felt about it. Do you think the Kai Havertz penalty was a stonewall penalty and I'm just being a bit weird and I'm just being a bit neggy about it? Did you see why the Bournemouth goal was disallowed? And please do let me know in the comments. And until I see you again, be lucky. Lots of love.